To reverse the mission of the African Independence Workforce Program is to reverse the negative economic and social impact of the colonial economy and prison system, and to train members of our community to contribute to a prosperous future through development of our own independent economy. When the mission of the African Independence Workforce Program is carried out, we uplift the entire community. We will ensure the success of the mission by carrying out the four main components of the African Independence Workforce Program: job training, job placement, housing, and life services. We created the Gary Brooks Community Garden, the One Africa One Nation Farmers Market, and the Uhuru Bakery and Cafe to end food apartheid that is prevalent in North St. Louis. These programs bring fresh, nutritious foods as well as job opportunities into our community. Our state-of-the-art basketball court and program will improve leadership abilities, social skills, critical thinking, and self-confidence. Basketball creates lifelong memories that people will have forever, and this is something you cannot put a price on. These are all beautiful, high-quality, African self-determination programs that our community takes pride in, built from the ground up. We are repairing our community. Participants of the African Independence Workforce Program will not need to leave our communities to find meaningful employment. We can see our labor building our own communities that benefit our children and our neighbors' children. Donate today. Spread the word. Visit our websites for more information and follow us on social media to keep up with the progress of the Black Power Blueprint.
Uhuru. Welcome to the final event of our Give STL Day campaign. Before we get started, I do want to let everybody know that we are right in the middle of a power hour. So for the next 26 minutes, if you are going to give and just haven't gotten around to it yet, I strongly encourage you to do that now. For each donation we get a piece of a $20,000 pie from Give STL Day. So Uhuru, so go ahead, go to givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprints and give now. My name is Brendan McCoy. I am here with my co-host Stephanie, and we are both members of the African People's Solidarity Committee and USM. We work under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, and I want to salute Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who's here in the room. Yes, right here in the room, which, by the way, we are in the beautiful fourplex housing, which is kind of a centerpiece of the African Independence Workforce Program that this fundraiser is for. And the architect of this incredible program is also sitting here with us tonight. So a huge salute to President Onezene Yeshitela. None of this would be possible without her leadership. And I also want to salute our other special guest with us here tonight, Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, Penny Hess. And we have an absolutely incredible program for everybody tonight. But before we get into that, I do want to shout out and thank everyone who has already donated. The early giving has been incredibly successful. Yeah, we are already over 86% of the way to our goal. So yes, and I know we're going to hit it tonight.
Whoa. Okay, no, let's keep going. We're changing already.
We'll be announcing some things here soon. But I do want to say, I know we've had 14 anonymous donors. Shout those out right away.
Yes.
Also, anonymous is always so supportive.
Great comrades.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
if
ahead, Stephanie.
people don't want to have your name on a list as a donor, you can be anonymous and, be anonymous. That's great. Your money
Yeah.
still goes to support African self-determination in the hands of the African community. So uhuru to anonymous donors.
Uhuru.
All right.
Okay, and now I do want to shout out some of the folks that we know are contributing to this incredible campaign. I want to salute Aaron, Allison, Amanda, Annetta, Ashton, Barbara, another Barbara, Carol, Christy, Colin, Daniel, Redbeard.
Yourself,
Stephanie,
Diane, Eric, Franklin, Heather. These are alphabetized.
anyone's keeping up except for Redbeard.
Jamie, Jeanette. No, that's Janet. Janice, Janine, Jesse, Jan, Joel, Johan, John, Carrie, Kitty, Lauren, another Lauren, Leah, Lisa, MQ,
Multiple
MQ,
times.
MQ.
Multiple times. So salute to MQ.
And Mark, Mary, Michael, Mohammed, Mwita, Nina, O'Malley, and Ona,
Uhuru.
Patricia, Paul, Peg, Rebecca, Raya, Robert, Rosemary, Ruby, Stephanie, Susan, Virginia, and Wendy. All donated. 63 amazing donors led up to this event tonight.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. And I know some people gave multiple times, and I also want to shout out because a lot of these folks, maybe they hadn't heard of the African People's Education and Defense Fund before, but they were friends with somebody or had somebody on social media who's a part, like a supporter who really wants to put this out there. And we had a lot of people do that by creating a peer-to-peer fundraiser and just, put it out to the world, wanted to share and show everybody, this incredible organization and let people know that this exists. It's right here in St. Louis. So I want to shout out, I did one of these as well. But I want to salute Ruby, Indigo, Jan, Aubrey, Johan, Stephanie, Uhuru, Janine, Opa, and Diane, who all did peer-to-peer fundraisers, reached out to their circle of friends and family, and really spread the word about this incredible organization. Salute to everybody. And so I do believe we have a sneak peek to let everyone know really what this is going towards. The Buy Black Power building. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that is great to hear. So, sneak peek.
Building.
First time look.
The $10,000 is going to support the Buy Black Power building that's going to house all the Buy Black Power products that are an economic development institution of APEDF supporting the African Independence Workforce Program, along with all the programs of the Black Power Blueprint. So this building, is going to mean a lot, and we're going to talk more about that. But this is going to be the first sneak peek. You guys are going to get the first look, and we're just making sure it's going to happen.
And you'll see just how close this building is.
Yes.
This campaign can get us there.
Yes.
If we surpass this goal, which I know we're going to do tonight, we'll have what we need. So I want to encourage everybody before we cut over, go to givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprint and Barbara. $25. So Barbara.
Uhuru.
So
there are so many more that have come in. These are all new. So Kat, $10. Gemini, 25. Uhuru. President Onazine, 15. Another 15.
It's 19.
Wow. Yep.
Wendy, Maureen.
Yeah, stay together pretty close so you can stay in the picture. Because I can see one.
Is that our remote?
Okay.
Hallie, and so over to Hallie and Sayali and Hallie.
All right.
And yes.
Can't see, I can't see it.
Yeah, but we had.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome to the Future by Black Power storefront right here at 4619 National Bridge. My name is Hallie Murray. I have the honor of being the chair of Uhuru Planet Reparations Apparel, which is a institution owned by the African People's Socialist Party that will be one of the many featured businesses here. And this is Sayali. You want to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Sayali Moyenda, and I'm gonna be having my products here.
Yeah. What kind of work do you make?
Well, I do a lot of crochet items, very unique, special items, from hats to bags to purses to blankets. You name it, I try to make it.
Like the one you're wearing?
Yeah,
Cute. Okay,
here, yeah.
nice. Yeah, so we have the honor of showing everyone this exciting new project that your donations and reparations and contributions tonight will go to sustaining this project that is working hand in hand with the African Independence Workforce Program to train people coming out of prison to be business owners and artisans and t-shirt producers. You know, we have almost 40 designs in Uhuru Planet. We need all those made. So this is the storefront right now. It's right next to the African National Women's Organization headquarters, which is literally the house next door. And the idea is that, so this was, you know, a little apartment unit. It's like a couple bedrooms, but the idea is to knock down all these walls. So it's one big open, like beautiful storefront, and that all the different businesses, which includes all of the Uhuru movement institutions that sell products such as Decolonize Body Butter, that's Anwo's institution, Uhuru Planet, Burning Spirit newspaper, and all the books for sale and posters and art, Uzi Custom Apparel, which I'm actually wearing right now, this bleach dye tank, as well as other just African Black-owned businesses and artisans having a little booth here to represent themselves, to make resources for yourself and towards the movement that the Buy Black Power campaign, and you know, encompasses so many institutions. So you know, it's kind of it's a work in progress right now. You know, you see the drywall's really open. There's no lighting right now, so some of our shops will be kind of dark. But let's just show you around some of these rooms. Just watch the floor here. So this is the Natural Bridge. Is for people that aren't in St. Louis. It's a really big. It's a major road. It's almost like a highway. So the idea, you know, and there's a lot of ideas floating around, but we were thinking to open up this window to be like a big 6-foot beautiful glass window with like fashion models, like mannequins, and really nice lighting, so people can see from the road, like, oh, that's a store. Like let's go shopping for all kind of things. And there's clearly a lot of work to do on this building. So if you have skills in the trades, you know, I know, Sal, you were talking about doing drywall in the past and different construction. If you have skills in the trades, we definitely need your help to get this building where it needs to be.
Yeah.
I think another idea was to have the ceiling be like open concept, kind of like at the Uhuru House here in St. Louis. So I think this would be like the register desk, different products behind it. It could also be a space for events. I mean, there's so many things it can be. Let's keep on walking here. Just watch your step for those online. Just a lot of drywall dust. Here's another room that, you know, we will be knocking out this wall. So it'll just be a big, beautiful hall. These are hardwood floors. Eventually, they just obviously need a lot of cleaning. So we could even do like fashion runway shows or modeling, different type of events here. It's really dynamic. And a key part of this building will be the basement, which unfortunately we can't show you right now because there's no lighting. It's just a dark hole, but it will be the hub of the African Independence Workforce Program for the production side. So picture things like sewing machines, crochet supplies, you know, for your knitting. What else? Like a screen print station, as well as, oh, I totally forgot, Enzo and the furniture line, of course. that we'll be seeing tonight. We'll have a sneak peek, lots of sneak peeks on the whole program. So downstairs will be a whole creative hub for people to be painting the furniture, printing t-shirts, making the artwork and other products for sale. And then it comes up here to the retail section, the storefront. Let's keep going. You want to show the remaining rooms here? I mean, they're all, you know, works in progress, but this will be the bathroom, changing station.
Right.
So your donations tonight are really critical to get this building off the ground and going.
And we have other rooms here. We have room back here that could be, you know, it could be a station where people come get some refreshments.
Yeah, that was probably the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because this was an apartment unit. That was, you know,
And this could
bedroom,
be-
but
This could be another area, you know, for, you know, a lounge area or something like that. You know, there's so much potential
Yeah.
here in this building, you know, but, you know, your donations are definitely key for, you know, really making this place open up and really be a nice economic hub here in the north side.
yes. And there's also a really nice backyard. We can't get there now because the door's bolted up, but you know, just picturing like big Enzo furniture painting days with the, you know, some tents up, some music going, maybe like a cookout back there. So there's so much potential. And yeah, it's really important that you contribute to these programs. And if you have questions about it, you know, you can put them in the chat. I'm sure there'll be a Q&A later. What else? It's yeah. Oh, I just, of course, want to salute Deputy Chair Ona Zane Geshatella for securing this institution. You know, the party owns all these properties of the Black Power Blueprint. I'm not even sure how many exactly properties are under the umbrella that is the Black Power Blueprint. So, you know, the location where everyone is at right now, that's another one of the properties, the fourplex. This building is the Buy Black Power storefront. And I just really want to salute Deputy Chair Ona Zane Geshatella, as well as Chairman Amalia Geshatella, for your vision, for your relentless, just nonstop, you know, always serving the African working class, and that everyone can be part of this movement. So just really appreciate our leadership and all the work that went into this webinar. I'm not sure our time, so let me know how we're doing.
We'll take it back over here. That was excellent.
Okay.
So-
Uhuru, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Uhuru.
And it sounds like everyone really enjoyed that live sneak peek because the donations have been coming in.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. So who can we thank? We have so many people to thank. Okay, so I'm going to start. All right, so we got to go back because there's a whole list on my text here. So we want to thank Chairwoman Penny donating $100, Brendan donating $25, Kofi donating $50, Daniel donating $50, Maureen donating $200, Amali and Ona Zane Geshatella $250 donation. We have Mads at $15. We have Rainey, $10 donation. We have Wendy, $25 donation. All right, I'm scrolling. Let's see. Aisha, $50. Now, Penny, is that additional? Is that correct?
I don't know. No.
Okay,
There's-
all right.
Of course, it would not be a fundraiser if we did not shout out this comrade multiple times.
Thank you.
So what does that bring us to? Where are we at?
Our new total is $9,350. And I'm really calling on everybody, let's hit that $10,000 goal before the end of this power hour. So we got 9 more minutes. Let's do it. I know we can do it and get all of that partially matched by this, you know, this $20,000 grab bag.
Amazing. All right, we're
Yes.
okay, so the theme for tonight's event, Black self-determination, not mass incarceration. I really want to talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
I have the honor of working under Deputy Chair President Ona's leadership, helping to build the program, the African Independence Workforce Program. So I just want to go to a couple slides. So tonight's theme, Black self-determination, not mass incarceration. It really addresses the fact that, next slide, the agency of African people, as Chairman and President Ona have said, that is the thing that has been taken away, meaning the ability for African people to be self-determining, making choices that are in the best interest for the African community. Next slide. So Chairman Amali Shatila has often spoken about this in terms of why there is even a need for a nonprofit like the African People's Education and Defense Fund. He has said, quote, if African people had control of the land and resources of Africa, if African people benefited from Africa and all of its wealth, there would be no need to create organizations such as these. But until Africa and our people are free, we will continue to struggle for self-determination. So next slide. And as Chairman has also said, African people were stolen out of Africa and forced to labor for the benefit of the US colonialist system benefiting the white world. Chairman has also pointed out that just as African people were stripped of their freedom, Africa itself was stripped of African people, to be able to produce and develop the land of Africa and the wealth for African people themselves. Next slide. At the first Congress of the African People's Socialist Party, actually in 1981, Chairman said, quote, it is this system of imperialism built and developed off the blood, sweat, and liberty of African people, which is responsible for the underpopulation, grinding poverty, and underdevelopment of Africa. Next slide. That is why the African Independence Workforce Program is so important. As President Ona has said, quote, we've built for everyone else. Now it's time we build for ourselves, our Africa, our resources, developing our own independent economy, end quote. So the Black Power Blueprint and the AIWP are about recapturing agency back in the hands of African people. So next slide. As we know, the prisons have always been used as a colonial tool against African people. The 13th Amendment of the Constitution did not end slavery. It made slavery legal in the prison system. Prior to that, vast wealth was generated off the vicious convict leasing system. And today, prisoners make next to nothing working and creating wealth for corporations, generating billions of dollars in a huge prison economy. Next slide. So the impact of the prison system on the African community is nothing short of devastating. African people, who represent just 13% of the national population, represent at least 40% of the prison population. And this isn't old news, this isn't new news, this is a constant state since prisons, were invented. This has been the constant state of its use against the African community. And in fact, today, 1 in 3 African men and 1 in 18 African women will go to prison in their lifetime. And I just read an article today that was updating its statistics about African women in prison, saying it is still the fastest growing demographic in the prison system in the US. Next slide. So in this recent period, the fastest growing prison population is African women, as I just said. In the late 1990s, actually, the incarceration rate of African women in the US increased by 858%. Today, an African woman is 8 times more likely than a white woman to be imprisoned. And in fact, African women who are in prison are mostly in prison for nonviolent drug and property-related offenses, or so-called crimes of survival. So the mission, next slide, the mission of the African Independence Workforce Program is to reverse this negative economic impact of the colonial economy and prison system. The AIWP is training members of the African community to contribute to a prosperous future through development of the independent, liberated economy. Next slide. So tonight we are really honored to have on our program APDF President Ona Zanaya-Shatella, who is making the African liberated economy a reality through building all economic development institutions throughout the Uhuru movement, and especially the self-determination programs of the Black Power Blueprint right here in St. Louis. So the idea of, quote, training members of the African community to contribute to this prosperous future through the development of a liberated economy, it's not just an idea, it's not just words. This is a reality on the ground here in St. Louis. And next slide. And the vision, the beautiful vision for the AIWP is, quote, our African labor is now producing for ourselves, meeting the essential needs of food, clothing, and shelter, and creating prosperous, self-determining African communities everywhere. Beautiful. And next slide. So today we are calling on everyone, as you have been doing, donate to givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprint to support agency back in the hands of the African community. African self-determination, not mass incarceration. So I just want to stop there and just check in. See. So it does look like we have some new donors to thank, which is really exciting. A mere $20 donation. Kara, $50 donation. Uhuru. Anonymous, $100 donation. Uhuru. And
Yes. Go ahead.
MQ, another donation, $25. Uhuru. Sandra, a donation for 10. Uhuru.
Sandra.
And Jesse, a donation for $100. So that brings us to
We are at $9,605. So we are very close to that $10,000 mark. Oh, and Mike, $50. So awesome. Okay.
all right, amazing. So we have a really great special guest that's up next. Chairwoman Penny Hass leads the African People's Solidarity Committee. She was the first white woman to heed the call made by the African People's Socialist Party in 1976 to work under the leadership of the African Liberation Movement and organize in the white community around the question of reparations from white people to the African working class. So we're really honored to have Chairwoman Penny Hass here with us tonight.
It's such a great honor to be here tonight. This is very, very exciting. I want to salute my leadership, Deputy Chair Ona Zanaya-Shatella. It is so exciting to be here and very much of an honor to be here, able to be here with Chairman Omali Shatella, who we will be hearing from very shortly. And I'm so excited about this program, and I am going to be talking about the prison issue because the whole reality in this country shows what the question of prison proves, or is a perfect example of the fact that this is colonialism that is experienced by African and indigenous people inside the borders of the United States. And when you're talking about prison, just some facts that we would have to say is that the US has the largest prison population in the world.
Yes.
But the population of China, which has much less, US has, I believe, over 2 million, 2.5. I need to get the whole statistic again, but the population of China is 3 times greater than the US, but the prison population is far lower than the US. So it's really clear that the US uses it as a tool of colonial control and oppression over African people, because we heard the statistic that African people are at least 40% of the prison population. And when you add African, Mexican, and indigenous people, you're talking about 75% of the prison population inside the United States. One thing that I'm just reading a statistic or an understanding that that African people are not counted as unemployed. So it makes the economy look much bigger because the prison, stolen prison labor and the prison, and African people being in prison, not able to work in an economy that benefits themselves in any way whatsoever. This is, so this hides nearly the fact that nearly the 2 million people are hidden from the unemployment numbers in the US, if that makes sense. So it's hidden, so it makes the US economy look a lot better than it is. And that, but of course, the labor is stolen from African people as part of the colonial domination of African people in this country. And so, I think that that's really, really important to see, and why the African Independence Workforce Program is an anti-colonial project that fights against the prison, the colonial prison oppression by taking and creating power in the hands of the African working class, therefore the Black Power blueprint. So it's very exciting, and it is the only way forward. And we call on white people to to stand in solidarity with it, to contribute to it, because it's in our interest to see a society without oppressors and the oppressed, to be part of it, to not be, somebody that benefits from this colonial prison system, which makes its money off the suffering of African and Indigenous and Mexican people here and around the world. So we want to be part of the future.
Yes.
So we can contribute to the Black Power blueprint.
Uhuru, and yes, as Chairman has said, one of my favorite quotes, oppressor and oppressed, there's no dignity on either side of that relationship. So Chairwoman Penny, we do have a couple questions wanted to ask you. So we know, we've kind of been talking about how the prison industry has impacted the African community. Can we talk a little bit about how it impacts the general white community?
Well, I think, the prison population is so huge that they say that it's maybe 7 or 8% of the gross domestic product of the U.S., but that's because they're not counting the whole thing, and it's at least $500 billion, and it's probably much more than that, because there's so many spin-offs and other kinds of industries that are attendant to the prison economy. So it is whole towns of white people, especially in rural areas, depend on jobs as in prisons. They're notoriously billboards that white towns out in rural areas in particular put up, calling for, we want a prison in our town. Wow. As a means of employment. So it's part of this parasitic, what the chairman calls the colonial mode of production, that is, as you're saying, it's not good. It's not dignified. It's no way to live. It's a parasitic relationship that lets us get something at the expense of an immense suffering for the African community, which we do not want. We do not want. We want to have a principled, honest relationship to African people.
Absolutely. And on that note, so you lead APSC, which is, an organization of white people organizing in the white community for reparations to the African community. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about APSC and what that is?
Well, the African People's Solidarity Committee was formed by Chairman Omali Shatella and the African People's Socialist Party back in 1976, at a time when the African liberation movement was was facing a counterinsurgency, and all of the assassinations and attacks and mass imprisonment of leaders of the African liberation movement, which was the key driving force of all progressive change. It was the revolutionary movement inside the US and around the world, because it is an international movement. So the chairman created the African People's Solidarity Committee, APSC, to organize white people to go behind enemy lines, to be the voice and organizers of Black power in white face under the leadership of the African Revolution, and to break the isolation that the African liberation movement had been forced into by the US government's attack on it. And so that's what we do. And we take the message of reparations to African people in theory and in practice, and go out into the white community, organize genuine solidarity, why it's in the interest of white people to stand in solidarity with African liberation, with self-determination and political power in the hands of the African working class, not against racism, but against colonialism. And that, when we see here in St. Louis, where you can physically see the political power and economic power in the hands of the African working class and the Black Power blueprint, right here, even in this building that we're in right now.
Come take a tour.
It's you can see I have a tour. It's beautiful. It's powerful, and it's something that that white people have a tremendous interest in wanting to see and wanting to support and having the honor of being under the leadership of this society, which nobody, exists at the expense of anybody else.
Absolutely. And I do recommend anybody come to St. Louis and take a tour of this place.
Absolutely.
I mean, just seeing it, like, if there's any question you have, you come and see this and this is benefiting everyone. Like this is the way. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you, Chairwoman Penny, so much for that. I do have some updates.
Great. What are the updates?
Yes. Some very important updates. So I want to shout out Robert, donated $15. I want to shout out Kaylin, donated $20. And I also want to shout out my incredible co-host, Stephanie. $250. Two more just came in. I want to shout out Allison, $100, and Hallie, $30. I believe both in the room. I assume those are the Allison and the Hallie. So, do you want to give the total number this time?
We are over $10,000. $20. So let's keep it going.
Absolutely.
Keep it going.
Absolutely. So, okay. Well, I do want to give a couple specific shout outs to some really incredible supporters that we have. I do want to shout out our anonymous donor. They know who they are, who donated a $2,500 matching fund. So really, really incredible. I also want to shout out Comrade Redbeard, who donated $500, not once, but twice. So, I also want to shout out Mark, who donated $500, and Aaron, who donated $250, as well as Peg, who did $200, and
Peg did
$500. Yeah. Peg, so incredible.
Wow,
so and thank everybody else who has gotten us to where we are so far.
So incredible. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And you're going to want to keep it going after this next presentation. I have the honor of introducing our next special guest, who I also have the honor of working under the leadership of. This is the visionary architect of the Black Power Blueprint here in St. Louis. But not only that, President Onozine Yeshitela leads and is in charge of all 50 economic development institutions of the Uhuru movement, as well as the Black Power Blueprint programs right here on the ground. So I'm really honored to have President Onizane Shatella here with us tonight.
We're so excited.
It's
Oh my goodness. This is really
10,000 before you start
I
speaking.
know.
I mean, know what happens when you start speaking. More people donate. They go to givestlday.org/. And they keep giving.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Over, so
Mhm.
President Ona, we had a
Yes.
couple questions for you.
Mhm.
First, what is the thing that makes the AIWP so unique? Because there's a lot of re-entry programs out there, but what is it about AIWP that sets it apart?
Okay, so before I answer that question,
Okay.
I just really want to salute my leadership, Chairman Teller, who has been in the fight for 60+ years and has dedicated his life to overturning the social system so Africa and African people can be free in this lifetime. So I really wanted to salute the chairman and just say also that the chairman makes my job so easy because he's already told me what to do, you know. He said, this is what you have to do. You know, I read the political reports, I read, you know, everything that he's written around, you know, how to create this independent economy. So I just want to, you know, just salute the chairman. Next. And then I want to also give a big salute to Chairwoman Penny, who has, Chairwoman of the African People Solidarity Committee. I also want to give big shout outs to USM Chair Jesse Neville, Vice Chair Amanda, and I also want to give a big shout out to Brendan, who is the chair of the Give St. Louis. And I want to give a shout out to all the USM supporters, all the Uhuru movement supporters, donors who have really, you know, stepped up and said that we want this AIWP program to happen. Yes. So we just really want to, you know, just really salute them as well. So, okay, so thank you, Stephanie. That's a really good question. Well, let me just show you. The Black Power Blueprint programs represents real, genuine self-determination for our community because it's creating our ability to feed, clothe, and house ourselves, which are real programs that are on the ground right here in St. Louis. Next slide. So we have demolished buildings in our community that have been left in the state of decay, demoralizing our people and denying our children an opportunity to easily imagine a future for happiness and success. So we have transformed several properties on one corridor, and that corridor is West Florissant Avenue. Next slide. So the Black Power Blueprint programs include, of course, the Uhuru House and Aquaba Hall.
Yes.
Next slide. The Karibu Outdoor Venue. Next slide. Of course, the Black Power Vanguard Community Basketball Court.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is an incredible video.
Yes.
So for all of those who said that that court is not being utilized, as you can see, it's being utilized. And this summer is going to be a lot of things going on the basketball court. So I just want to give a shout out to the young people in the community and say that they have a safe place to play and shoot hoops, you know, and be together as well. So the Black Power Blueprint has created 2 beautiful community murals, one in the Gary Brooks Community Garden and also at the basketball court. Next slide. So the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market is going to be kicking off next month. That's led by annual President Ijide. So we're looking forward to that starting up again. And of course, Uhuru Bakery and Cafe. Next slide. So we have just had a huge victory after 10 months of struggle, and it will be open this year.
Yeah.
We're Bakery Cafe right on West Florissant Corridor. Next slide. And there is this fourplex housing unit we're in right now. This building is for participants in the African Independent Workforce Program who are coming out of the colonial prison and working they're going to be training here with the Black Power Blueprint institutions. So APDF and AIWP is unique because it's part of the strategy to put power back in the hands of the whole African community and make it possible for AIWP participants to contribute to their labor, to positive future. At the same time, we're helping them to build their future.
Uhuru, thank you so much.
Yes.
Uhuru. There was another amazing donation that came in while you were speaking. Like we always know is going to happen. Liz donated $100.
All right.
And Liz is Indigo's mom.
Oh, wow.
So Uhuru, that's awesome. And Liz wrote, quote, in honor of Aaron Burr, my middle school guidance counselor. Uhuru.
Those are mine.
Wow.
And another donation came in from Anonymous, $100. Uhuru, Anonymous.
Uhuru.
Fantastic. So, Deputy Chair, I would just want to come back, and we saw Hallie and Allie and Sayali were over at the building when we kicked off the event, showing it's 75% done, showing that status. But what is your vision for this building? What is it going to mean for AIWP and for the whole community to have this retail space really finished, open to the public?
Wow. Okay. So APDF purchased the building right next door to ANWO, the African National Women's Headquarters. So we're really, really excited about that. Just really keeping, the Uhuru movement on these major thoroughfares to really build. So it's on Natural Bridge, which is, goes from one end of St. Louis to the opposite end. So you saw earlier in the program how it's 70% completed already. We are excited because it's on a major thoroughfare, and we have a vision for it to house all of our Buy Black Power products. So all our Black Power products would include Uzi, which is a thread of freedom, which I know that Hallie did not talk about, but we're ready to put revolution back on the agenda again, and we're going to be having everything revolutionary in this institution. We will buy from each other and sell to everyone. We will not just buy Black. We will be buying Black Power. And we want this store to be all African. So you'll see everything African, everything red, black, and green, all by Black Power, and so many beautiful other things that you're going to be seeing throughout. It will be an economic anchor in the community, encouraging other businesses to grow there as well. This will be a beautiful addition to our community, a place that is welcoming where people can gather. This would include, like I said, Uzi products, Enzo products, Uhuru Planet products, Vanguard 7 lipstick is coming back, African flags, red stars, berets, Burning Spear publications, which include the Burning Spear newspaper, Decolonize products, and so much more. We want to show everyone what we're talking about. So even though this isn't at the Black Power building yet, here is a sample of what we'll be looking at. And also we're going to have Comrade Ciali come up a little bit later to show you some things in real time.
Nice.
Next slide. So we will also house training space. So AIWP participants can train on how to create products like Uzi furniture, also Enzo and Uhuru clothing. We will have training like crochet therapy, for example. So coming out of prison, these skills and interests can develop them, and we can incorporate entrepreneur training so people can learn how to build their own businesses. They can get real retail and customer service training. So we're calling on people to donate to get us across the finish line, which we have already made, but we have a new We should up the total right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Right now we're at what?
We are at 10,220.
Let's get to 12,000.
Yes.
12,000.
We can do it.
Uhuru. Wow, thank you so much. Beautiful. And just like the Uhuru Furniture stores, for everyone who's watching or in the room that remembers Uhuru Furniture, it was this anchor, like what you're talking about, in the community and really helped build up the neighborhoods they were in. So Deputy Chair, just one final question for you. I know that you have been fighting for AIWP to be a reality since 2015,
Yes.
at least. It's been a long time. What does this mean to you to see this finally becoming a reality?
Yeah. So 2015 is when I really introduced it to the party. And, like so many things, you can introduce something, but sometimes it's not the time to make it happen. So like so many African families, my family was seriously impacted by the colonial prison system. My brothers have been and still are connected to the prison system to this day. So I took on the role of mother to all my brothers at a very, very young age because of my mother could not come to grips with, them being locked up for so many years of their life. So I was the one person who wrote letters weekly. I was the one person who drove up and down the coast of Florida constantly to visit them, some in the worst prisons in the state of Florida. I was constantly violated by the guards due to mandated searches before I was able to enter the facilities to visit. I was the only one in my family to send money regularly, so they were able to get snacks and, condiments, in prison. I was the only one in my family to accept phone calls as I had my own phone when I was growing up because I started work at the age of 15. So they could call me freely at no cost. And I just really wanted to be there because I wanted them not to be isolated and show them that somebody really cared. When they would get out of prison, the system did not prepare them for what was waiting for them. So within 3 to 6 months, sometimes less, up until a year, they would violate probation and return to prison, and they would commit an offense that sent them back to prison. This is why the AIWP program is so important. We have design and workforce development training programs for the future. So within that, they can become chefs, bakers, line cooks, production managers, professional furniture movers, stagers, truck drivers, store managers, artists and graphics, logistic outreach, social media and marketing coordinators, project managers, farmers, gardeners, you name it, we can do it because all of these things are housed within the Uhuru movement. And we've been in existence in the Uhuru movement since 1972, and APDF has been in existence since 1994. So we have all these skills to be able to train people in these various areas so they can, come back, like this beautiful place we're in right now, have a place to live and also get training in various fields so they can be, placed back into society and actually bring something back to their community.
Mm-hmm.
And so we must take jobs out of it.
Mm-hmm.
At AIWP, we must create career pathways, or better yet, how to start a business and how to become entrepreneurs. That's our goal. So I later in life understood the root cause of this problem as colonialism, that in fact, that the police and the prison system were created to capture and enslave Black people trying to resist slavery. And since that time, all the forms of colonialism has taken to the attempt to continue to extract the labor from our communities. I have one brother who just got out of prison this year. 3 have passed away due to the same conditions I have described, and 1 is still right now battling drugs. So, our AIWP housing unit is named after Mafundi Richard Lake. Long live.
Long live.
He is a historic freedom fighter from Birmingham, Alabama, who spent much of his life in the notorious Alabama prison system and who initiated one of the most powerful organizations while in prison. Mafundi also became the first national organizer for the African National Prison Organization, AMPO. AMPO was the first mass prison organization actually created by the African People's Socialist Party as a response to the colonial assault waged against our people and our movement. So these are, this is one of the apartments that we're sitting in, but there's 4 Africans who through their relentless struggle for total liberation from the colonial domination that was personally immoralized through the AIWP apartments. So we have Asada Shakur, we have Desi Wood, we have Matula Shakur, and Sunayati Akule as apartments that were named after these people that has been locked up for decades, and some of them has passed away. So this is why I, Ona Danae Shatella, wanted to be a part of this program to actually change the conditions of the system that will in turn change the root cause of the problem. APDF is building economic development to revalorize our community, and AIWP provides what my brothers never had, a real path to a positive future for them and their families.
Her Deputy Chair, and that is so powerful. And I know that you had mentioned you wanted to show people a sneak peek of the Buy Black Power products. Do you want to do that at this point?
Well, yeah, we're gonna have CLE come up and and he's gonna showcase all the things that some of the things that we talked about. This is just some of the stuff we're gonna have in the Buy Black Power store.
I'm going for the pillow. Cameras.
Right here, CLE.
Okay.
Oh, boy. That's okay.
Go ahead.
All right. We have these beautiful pillows here.
Some more up top.
And then we have pillows up here.
That was designed by Enzo.
Yes, Enzo products here. We have down here, we have all of our decolonized products, black soap, that was popular. And we have all the Rebel oil and we have the, I really like this, the African Black Castile body wash and shampoo. And this is made from, wholesome ingredients, healthy ingredients, won't mess your skin up or anything like that. And I sold quite a few of these back in the day. We have our butters, we have blackberry, hair and body balm. This is really nice, and for people that have like fragile hair, it's perfect for their hair. It won't break their hair or anything. So beautiful products here. We have more beautiful products down here, and we have berets.
Yeah.
Here the berets,
Black and green.
very black and green.
African mask.
Yes, right. We have the African mask here. Let's take that right there. Beautiful African mask. That can be, excellent for decoration or an African party. Yes, yes. We have our pictures here. We have Marcus Garvey. We have Huey Newton, and many more photos here of different African freedom fighters that you can put on your wall. If you have a large desk, frame it, put it on your desk, and proudly show, the leaders of the past who are no longer with us, but whose impact is still felt to this day. So,
African cards.
we have our greeting cards, beautiful greeting cards in different colors and designs that you can get. Send to family, friends. We have more African masks. We have our Uhuru Planet here. There's a nice one right there. Right. Gentrification, colonialism, reparations now. I really like this one, colonialism caused climate change. So these are the products that you can proudly wear and have a positive message as opposed to not so positive messages I've seen on shirts. Here's some more posters here. Che, red, black, and green flags here. Even have a smaller flag right there. Then we also have more Enzo pillows. We have our Buy Black Power bumper stickers. Yeah, so you can put that on your car proudly. Then we have crochet product right here. There's a nice little pouch there. And something was mentioned about the crochet is therapy. And I just thought that was critically important because there's still a lot of isolation in the African community. And of course, mental illness is real. And we want to be able to have a way in which people in the community can come through and bring out their artistic, ability, but also at the same time interact with one another and not be closed in, locked in the house and things like that. And it helps to open things up and give people, a purpose of doing things as opposed to just the mundane grind of daily trying to survive life. Over here, we have some more items. We have books here. The Verdict is In, Reparations Now, and other books that's been written by chairman, and all this is Burning Spirit Publications. We have Overturning the Culture of Violence, which I've written at least 3 times over the years. We have more cards. Actually, no, this is a booklet.
Journal.
It's a journal.
Made by Wendy Craig.
Right on. Excellent.
Big journal in front, right there. Yes.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
up and show them. Yeah.
Oh, yes, indeed. And here's something that
That's by Wendy
By
too.
Wendy Craig.
Wendy Craig, can you say it?
Driftwood.
Wendy Craig created this. I really like
This
this.
is
that
beautiful.
I
gorgeous?
love the designs. Oh my goodness,
This is a journal.
this is wonderful. Yeah. This is absolutely wonderful. Of course, we have Vanguard 7 lipsticks here. Let's see what color. Well, I can't open them. I can't open them.
That's on the top.
Okay. But we have our Burning Spirit newspaper, another Burning Spirit publication right here. We have the O'Malley Taught Me cups. We got the Red Star. You can proudly put that on your hat. Here's some more products here of All Power Promotions and Creations. So, you can get you a nice tam. You can get you sweater vests, pouches, bags, any items, I can crochet it up for you. And, you can have that Black Power swag,
Yes.
everywhere you go. And then we have the furniture here. I mean, beautiful furniture. We have our what we call our struggle bag here. So you can sell your Burning Spirit newspapers, pull out one, get people to pay that $1, get that information in people's hands, how they can get organized and come into Black Power and make things happen. And I'd like to have that for myself, actually. But we got the bags here. Look at all these beautiful tables. This is all Enzo,
Hand painted.
hand painted, Africanized furniture, so, this is everything. This is just a sample of what you can get.
Mhm.
And when we get that Buy Black Power house opened up, just imagine what you'll be able to see up in there. And imagine what kind of economic beacon it will be in the African community here in the north side of St. Louis.
Absolutely. Yes, just to say too that the Mufindi Lake is a sponsored of the prison program, and it ships at least 900 burning spirit to prisoners for free. And that's through the agitation and propaganda of the party. As you know, the Spear is a great resource to promote the AIWP because we can speak directly to the forces who may actually participate in this program. So we're really excited about partnering with the Bernie Spear newspaper and seeing ways that we can actually penetrate more into the prison system.
Oh, thank you so much. So, next on our program, we actually want to let people know, like, your donations, we appreciate everyone that has donated, every single person that has donated. And there are some little give back thank yous that we want to make sure people know about when you donate. We still want to keep going to givestldday.org/Black Power Blueprint and help us get to that new goal of $12,000. So I want to welcome up the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, who's going to do this next section with Comrade Brendan.
Yes,
Chair
come
Jesse
on up.
Uhuru.
Chair Jesse.
Should I get, yeah, you can speak.
Yeah.
Very.
Uhuru. Welcome to the program.
Uhuru. An amazing program. Uhuru, President Onizane Shatella, Chairwoman Penny Hess, Comrade Brendan, Stephanie, Sayali, Chairman, everyone. It's great to be here.
Okay, and we're going to talk about these incredible give backs. I know our program, there's been so much that we're a little behind. So I want to go ahead and, just show everybody what their donation, what our appreciation back to you for donating to this incredible cause, what that looks like. So our first one, go back to the, so donate any amount and get yourself a African Independence Workforce Program sticker. You can, proudly have on anything. I put them on, my amps and everything, and you can have them on the back of your laptop and really show it.
So, yes.
Next.
First, I just want to salute this incredible program, and I just want to unite with the new goal. Let's get to $12,000. We can make this happen. We're only $1,780 away from reaching 12,000. So that's 17 and some change. People giving 100. No, is that right?
Yep.
Yes, $100 each. All right. Go to givestld.org/Black Power Blueprint. And I just really want to, again, appreciate some of our incredible donors. And we can't say enough to appreciate these donors. Comrade Redbeard was mentioned earlier. He's given 2 $500 donations. And I also want to mention that the first $500 donation that Redbeard gave was dedicated to APEDF Board President Onizane Shatella and Chairman Omali Shatella. And all of the comrades in the APSP, APSC, and USM. And the other donation from Redbeard was dedicated to a legendary veteran of the African People's Socialist Party, longstanding editor of the Burning Spear newspaper, Omowale K. Fing. You want to say, long live Omowale K. Fing?
Long live.
And I also wanted to mention that I thought it was really meaningful and powerful that Redbeard did that because Omowale K. Fing worked with Mafundi Lake. Yes. We are in this building dedicated to Mafundi Lake, and actually behind us is the article from the Burning Spear newspaper that Omowale K. Fing wrote to memorialize Mafundi Lake.
Right. Yes, salute.
Yes, and moving forward with the givebacks, Brendan.
Yes, if you haven't donated, get yourself a sticker, or better yet, get yourself this incredible keychain. So an African Independence Workforce Program keychain and a Buy Black Power button for anybody contributing $250 to $499. So Uhuru. Next slide.
And thank you to APEDF who put in $25. All right, and yes, those keychains look amazing, and the Buy Black Power button. And the AIWP logo is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful piece of African revolutionary art that it lends itself so well to so many things, including that awesome keychain. So Salute to everybody that gave or is planning to give between $250 and $499. And on the next level, Sayali just showed you some samples of this, but everyone, yep, everybody who contributes between $500 and $2,499 will receive everything mentioned so far, plus the Enzo greeting card pack.
Yeah.
And I am trying to do this while keeping up with these texts that are coming in. But I want to shout out Jamie Simpson and Sarah Edwards, who are doing $25. And moving ahead.
Okay, next. So you got a little sneak peek of some of this. So anyone donating $2,500 to $4,999 gets an incredible crochet pouch created by All Power Promotions and Creations. Proudly wear out and yeah, really for whatever, all purpose. So,
Awesome. And this next one is really special. And we know there's somebody out there who can go ahead and give $5,000 or more to the Give STL Day for the Black Power Blueprint. And when you do that, this is a brand new give back that we put together for this particular event. You will receive an actually carved wooden shape of Africa with the beautiful logo of the African Independence Workforce Program painted onto it. And this will be a piece of art for your home, for your office. It's going to be absolutely stunning. So be the first person to get this give back by going to givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprint. Givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprint. And anywhere from $5,000 to $9,999. And if I can just say the next one real quick, Brendan.
you go ahead. All you.
All right. This is the most special
Here it is.
give back that we have for you all today. Every person who contributes $10,000 or more. We said our new goal is 12,000, but we do not need to stop there. We can keep this going. Let's double the success of Give STL Day for the Black Power Blueprint this year. Every person who contributes $10,000 or more, you will be brought on your very own private tour of the Black Power Blueprint here in St. Louis.
Yes.
And not only that, you will be able to have a special dinner with Chairman Omalia Shatella and President Ona Dene. And that is absolutely worth it. That is priceless. So we want to thank everybody who's contributed so far. I know people are continuing to go to givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprint. And just want to salute all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you to every person who has supported the African Independence Workforce Program that is changing the world. Uhuru.
Thank you for joining me for that, Chair Jesse. And I would like to welcome back up my co-host Stephanie to introduce our next incredible guest.
Uhuru, well, that's really exciting. Lovely, lovely give backs. Really appreciate, like we said, really appreciate all of the amazing donors that have come through tonight. So I have the honor of introducing our next speaker, which is the leader and the founder of the International Uhuru Movement, who has worked for more than 60 years to build the movement for the liberation of Africa and African people worldwide. The leader who is responsible for making reparations a household word. The Black Power Blueprint is a practical manifestation of the ideas of African self-reliance, self-determination, and anti-colonialism that Chairman Omalia Shatella has developed through the theory of African internationalism for more than half a century. So first, before Chairman comes up, we're going to take a brief look, a really brief clip of the Chairman explaining why Buy a Black Power program is so necessary. Uhuru, so let's go to that clip.
Learning from our colonial capitalists, we will buy from each other and sell to everyone. Our slogan will be Buy Black Power. This takes us beyond the petty bourgeois neo-colonialist demand for African people to buy black, which might profit them, but promises nothing to our people as a means of breaking out of the colonial prison we have inhabited for the last several centuries. Buy Black Power does not only serve to promote our movement products, but will encourage other merchants within our colony to promote and develop an anti-colonial commercial approach as well. The office of the deputy chair must also examine the possibility, and I have to expedite this, of using the Uhuru houses and our local offices in each region within the U.S. and everywhere else possible as distribution points for our food products. This is especially true of Uhuru foods and pies. In other words, our economic activities will expand exponentially through utilization of these regional hubs and the initiation of local distribution points. These products for distribution must include shea butter from Anwo, clothing from Uzi, clothing from Zenzele Consignment, and Planet Uhuru apparel from the African People's Solidarity Committee. The Burning Spear newspaper and all our books, audio, and other visual products must also be distributed from these sites. The Office of the Deputy Chair will have the responsibility of providing overall leadership for all the economic activity outlined here. It must develop its own system of training and support for all the economic work and provide strategic direction leading to the creation of an independent, anti-colonial, international socialist economy of liberated Africa and African people. We want to create independent economic activity that is not simply inspired by an aspiration of individual wealth, but that recognizes itself as a part of the struggle for self-determination. The Office of the Deputy Chair can begin training programs for Africans to initiate and participate in successful economic ventures as part of the overall anti-colonial economic work. Our Buy Black Power programs will help to inspire our community from its deepest, most oppressed and exploited sectors to political consciousness of self-reliance. This, along with all our community and neighborhood gardens, will begin the process of generalized self-initiated economic development on the terms of the people instead of the predatory colonial merchants, bankers, and their political minions.
So, just like I said when I was opening, the chairman has made my job so easy. He's written everything, so all I have to do is follow it. Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrades. First of all, I really want to express my deep and most profound appreciation to everybody who's participating in this project, to members of the African People's Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru movement, Uhuru Solidarity and what have you. I really want to express appreciation. I want to express appreciation for the genius that we've seen expressed throughout this process and that we've seen with your participation in this work. I want to remind us that I think the Command Deputy Chair, Owners and Yeshatella, went off on this vein as well, that what we are talking about with these programs and projects, we're talking about changing the lives of people, human beings. It's a cruel weight of colonialism that all of us experience, but they colonized in the most despicable way that challenges the whole notion of our humanity. When I stepped outside a moment ago, the basketball court, we spent $160,000 on that basketball court right here next to the duplex. And it's a first-class basketball court. It's in the middle of an impoverished African community. It's changed the complex of this complexion of this community considerably. And we were told by people that put a basketball court there, the only thing that's going to happen is people are going to kill each other. The young people will just kill each other. In fact, at one time, and it may still be the case, St. Louis was called the murder capital of this country, where Africans were involved in horizontal violence. That's something that characterizes colonial communities everywhere and has done so historically. It's even the anti-colonial Jesus who had to talk to the people who were oppressed by the Romans at that time about love everyone and turn the other cheek when it comes to your brothers and sisters, etc. Because colonialism does that. It creates horrible conditions. It extracts all kinds of value, life, humanity from people. And so we put a basketball court there, and people said, well, why you put a basketball court after the people didn't kill each other there? And in fact, what we keep hearing is that the community has changed, and where we used to have parts of the community with beefs against other parts of the community, that's changed. And that this is a place where it's recognized that the people, anybody from any sector of the community can come to without those kinds of problems. And so they say, well, why a basketball court? Why didn't you put up something that could make money, do some other kinds of things, resources? We could use more housing, etc. But the way to get to the houses is with the people. And we're here now with the Mufunda Lake fourplex. Mufunda Lake has spent so much of his life in prison, courageous. Some of you in this room where I am now met Mufunda, and you know what I'm talking about when I talk about what a heroic character of Mufunda Lake was. But the thing is that the people here we are in the Mufunda Lake complex, named for Mufunda. We got other people who were in prison. We're talking about, Comrade Penny has talked about the numbers of African people who are in prison. And that's not even speaking to the totality of what happens with us with prison. You're talking about who's in prison today. But then yesterday, somebody was in prison, and this group got out, and somebody else. And then even those who get out, sometimes, whether they go to prison or not, they have this ghetto jewelry, the bracelets on where they're watched all the time, where they can't go any place, and they're on parole, they're on probation. This is just the life of African people. And it can be so brutal and so ubiquitous. And the people can be defined in such a fashion that people can even lose respect for themselves. It's the only thing you ever hear, only thing you ever see, living under such cruel circumstances, demoralized populations at different times. But despite all of that, the resistance is here. And because no matter what happens in terms of what gets pumped into the brains of African people, the reality, the material reality, the conditions that people are confronted with makes it necessary to struggle. I was looking at just earlier today, and I think I first saw it on yesterday. I think this brother, is he in Texas someplace? I can't remember exactly where he's from, but the police had killed, Ohio, I can't remember, Ohio, where the police had killed his son and had shot him in the back, something like 3 times, killed him. And the brother got in his car and found the cop. He didn't care if the cop was involved in the shooting or not, and he ran him over with his car. And so he killed the cop. And when he got to the courtroom, inside the courtroom, a pack of wolves. They're snarling people who are arms of the state, cops, there with the objective of intimidating and perhaps harming him very seriously. I've known this to happen. This happened to me before. But this young African, they killed his son. And we're supposed to be so intimidated that they can do this to us. Penny has talked about the numbers of people who are in prison all the time. We live in communities where they have the audacity to come to our communities to pick up our children and take them to prison 15, 20, 50 years at a time. This is the reality that we are confronted with. From even with the children who are kidnapped and put in so-called foster care institutions. We have situations where they will destroy our ability to feed, clothing, house ourselves. And even with the Black Power Blueprint, where we're talking about putting together a bakery cafe, it took 9 months just to get a permit to do that for our community. On the one hand, and this has an incredible impact on the community. When you see this kind of ongoing brutality, the deprivation of even the ability to eat, quality food, even the ability for young people to have something that they can aspire to. And they aspire to because they see it. It's not like it's magic because we've seen this happen before. In this community that we live in, it was a thriving African community. And they intentionally initiated projects or a program to destroy the economy of this community and to drive, they call it benign neglect, but there was nothing benign about it. And they destroyed the capacity of the people to have the ability to feel good about themselves. They did things like destroyed the black schools. They just closed them all down, destroyed them in the African community. And they destroyed, and this is an important thing because this is something that colonialism always does. When you saw the independence in Algeria in 1972, was it 72, 73, something to this effect, when Algeria became independent, the 90% of the population was illiterate. When Congo became independent, there were less than 20 university graduates from Congo any place in the world. And part of this is designed to make it impossible for people to have the skills to be able to run a government. How are you going to be independent? Therefore, you have to rely on the colonizer. You have to rely on them to take care of everything. And so this is the reality that we're confronted with all the time. And I cannot speak to the effect on the morale of the people. And I want to say that the African People's Socialist Party that I lead internationally has assumed the responsibility of leading the people to liberation. But in order for that to happen, we also have to lead the people to a confrontation with their own dignity, their own humanity, to recognize their own, and help the people reach their own full stature as African people who brought civilization to the planet Earth and yet have been reduced to the kinds of conditions we live in. We live in a country, I was looking at something just today, and where the British in particular, all the laws that impact us around the world were initiated under England mostly. I mean, France had its own laws, but it was the British who really perfected this stuff, and who also talked about what we call liberal imperialism, liberal capitalism, if you will. It was the British who actually was the vanguard in this, and they actually were able to talk about rule of law. People living under rule of law, and the rule of law was colonial law. And they talked about democracy and freedom. I'm talking about the great philosophers. What's his name? Mill. What's Mill's name? Come on, tell me. John Stuart Mill and others who talked about, and they came up with these notions of what liberty and freedom was all about. And it was all about them. And then they talked about, when questioned, how in the hell can you be talking about these things? And the treatment that you impose on people who you've colonized, you've killed, you keep living under the worst kinds of conditions. How can you justify talking about democracy and all these things and do that at the same time? And this is where you see the real emergence of this whole concept of the white man's burden. And the white man's burden, and said, we can do this because the barbarians have not come up to the standards of civilizations. Black people, brown people, other peoples around the world, they have to achieve the standards of civilization before this democracy can apply to them. In the meantime, we can use all kinds of undemocratic processes to bring them up to the standards and of the rest of us. That's today. That's today we see that happening to us. The treatment and articulation of rights for our children and no rights for our children, Black people in general. That's today. That's what we are confronted with. That's the law that we say that we have to obey with such fidelity and whatever. That's the law. That's the source. Jesus didn't bring it. It wasn't brought by some religious force. It was the colonizer who made the law. Colonizers make the law. They tell us what is legal, and it is legal, and what is illegal. That's why when people say, well, this was illegal that they did. No, it wasn't illegal. It was legal that they did it. Slavery was legal. Colonialism was legal. It was legal. In fact, they had principles that said that if people, they make these laws about property, and this is the fundamental thing, this property stuff, and if people, there's a presumption because of how we've grown up and how we've been taught of something so precious about property. But property was a new invention. It was something that was created by colonialism. Property. People live places and people have certain kinds of experience. Property presupposes ownership of a certain kind that didn't exist most. In fact, this is one of the things that made what Europe did so peculiar is this private ownership of land. And so when you look at borders around the world, and they put borders every damn where all around the world, they've gone, they put borders and they kill people for crossing those borders, etc. Those are property lines that we're looking at. And those are the things that we're being victimized by on a regular basis. So even somebody who's stolen, you stole my land, you draw a border there, and if I cross that border, I've broken the law. And you can do anything that you want to do to me. This is the kind of reality that has been imposed on us. And that's why this is so important. Because especially when you look at the volume, the amount of Black people who are in prison all the time. And the system cannot work unless the victim believes in the system itself and believe in how the colonizers have designated us, defined us to be. It can't work without that. That's why they wake us in the morning at 5 o'clock with flashbang grenades and armored vehicles, because we are leading the people to another understanding of this reality. Because the moment the people no longer believe in the system cannot work. It takes that at least that minimum kind of cooperation for it to work. And the problem is the material reality of African people keep us in a constant, permanent state of rebellion, especially young people who may not have even had any political education at all, but they're constantly rebelling, constantly. That's why when we look at how old was Tyrone Lewis when they killed him? 18, 17. How old was Mike Brown when they killed him? 17, years old. You see all these young Africans who are being killed, and it's also a form of birth control. The prison function as a form of birth control. Comrade Penny has made the point. They paint these glowing pictures of the economy at different times in this country, but they can't talk about the real unemployment in this country, because the people who they put in prison are not counted as unemployed, because they're not even counted as a part of the workforce. So you got 1 million people in prison, 2 million people in prison any given time. You got a false report in terms of what the state of the economy really is. And so this is the reality that we're confronted with. And so our responsibility in the African People's Socialist Party, my responsibility is to be able to be what the people can see we can be. To be what the people can see we can be. That's my responsibility, to go against the whole sense of morality that's imposed on us, all the notions that they have talked about what's right and what's wrong, etc. Criticize everything, because none of it is legitimate as far as the colonized are concerned. And so we have to create organization and create examples, with our presence. And in us, people need to be able to see their possibilities. That basketball court, people can see their possibilities. They don't have to be limited to understanding a possibility just playing up and down in the middle of the streets with bicycle rims as hoops and things like that you find in every colonized community in this country. So I just wanted to say that and say I appreciate so much what is here. And I appreciate so much those who have made contributions, because it's a fundamental kind of unity that we're talking about. Because our objective is to deconstruct the colonial project, is to tear the colonial project down, is to make it possible for people to live as human beings. When I say live as human beings, I'm talking about without existing in some kind of exile from the rest of humanity. Here part of what we're doing is rescuing white people, frankly. And I mean this in a literal sense of the word, because this minority population living in isolation from the rest of humanity with the most ridiculous, this is the most obscene kinds of assumptions about who the hell you are as opposed to everybody else. The colonizers being convinced of this garbage. And this is This is a tremendous blow that's made to the colonizers. And what you have done and what you are doing is crossing that border, knocking those borders down, artificial borders that has been imposed upon you, that separates you from the rest of humanity. You know, do what we have to do. Let's build this Black Power, blueprint. Let's make all of these projects happen in a very extraordinary way. Let's struggle to be the human beings that can come into existence once we get this colonial monkey off of our backs. Uhuru.
Well, we have some really incredible updates that I think reflect what everyone is feeling,
Yes.
having listened to and watched that amazing presentation. So I just really want to thank the following donors. Janice donated $150. Paula pledged $100 donation.
Oh, wow. Paula.
Ashwin donated $15. Johan donated $50. And President Ona, do you want to make some very, very special announcements that we found out about?
Let me make a special announcement first. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I just mentioned in passing the significance of the party. You heard Ona Zanea say some things about her own upbringing and stuff like that. She's born in the same city and raised the same city I was born in and raised in. And I know where she was born, and I know the circumstances in which she lived. And for whatever reasons, there are some of us who crawl through the muck and garbage that's imposed on us. You have no idea the kind of situation that Ona Zanea came out of to become who she is. But if you see who she is now, and she had to climb through all of that garbage, it says something about the potential for the rest of the people. But this is not imposed on them. I don't know what it is that gave her the special qualities, or the particular qualities, I should say. I don't even know if they're special. I don't even know if they're special. I think what's special is the oppression that's put on the majority of the Black population so that they cannot reach the heights and the capacity that Ona Zanea represents to us. And this is what we are supposed to do. This is what I'm talking about. When young African women experience Ona Zanea, they see themselves what they are capable of doing. Young African people, but they see, and I'm speaking specifically about women who in so many ways have been vanguards inside our communities for the longest period of time. So historically, the most understated, underrepresented, underrecognized sector of the human population is African women. And I say this without hesitation. I mean, because African women have always fought, have never not been a time where African women haven't been on the front line. So I wanted to say that, and I look and I see 4 feet. I see Kamada Kinge and other people who the brilliance inside the African movement and what it took just for that kind of expression to materialize, to represent itself in the world. And that's not to undermine or to understate the significance of Hallie and the incredible stuff that I watch her doing all the time. And I'm trying to buy her stuff too. I'm trying to get it for nothing. And I can point to people in this room. I mean, right here where we are, just magnificent human beings. I mean, this is the part of the process of achieving our own humanity that's given to us by what is happening now with Black Power Blueprint, with this fourplex that we're talking about and everything else we're doing. And comment, Deputy Chair, I interrupted you, but I think you're bad.
Uhuru, so I mean, it's just, I just really want to salute that whole presentation, and especially that last salute and presentation that you just made, Chairman. You can throw a stone and hit an article about the impact that the prison industry has on African women in particular. I mean, there's article after article after article, and yet it's nothing that anybody is talking about. Like at the same time, it's this hidden reality that's in plain sight. I just really appreciate every, point that you're making.
And Stephanie, when we walk through North St. Louis and we see all those Africans here, the question is, how the hell did they get here? How did we get here? And this is a really critical question because it talks about definition, defining who we are. And it's also the statement that's really hard, question that's really hard to be answered by sectors of the colonizers, because if we say who we are, then the question is, who the fuck are you? You understand? If I'm an African, then who are you? And the thing is, what we do, those of us who participate in this process, those who are making these contributions, those who are expressing their genius through what they bring here and what have you, it's a credible bit of work that we are doing again to really achieve the stature that human beings should be able to realize. And we're building the future right now. The future is being constructed in the process of deconstructing colonialism. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
So, this whole thank you, Chairman. That was a powerful presentation, and just, again, you're the most complete person I know in the world. And I just really appreciate your leadership. And Uhuru. So during this whole Give St. Louis Day, they have different ways to unlock certain prizes. So one of the things that APDF and the African Independent Workforce Program has unlocked during this whole process was we were awarded $500 for getting the first donation of the day.
Yeah.
I really want to shout out Virginia, who at 1159.99 or whatever it was, donated $250. So that unlocked that $500 for us. So we want to say a big salute to Virginia for the most unique donors during 6 o'clock power hour.
I think that was right.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the total we have yet.
Yeah.
Total
Yes.
raised. So the 6 o'clock power hour unique donor prize, we got $250 from that.
Okay.
So the new total, also Leah did $100.
Oh,
So the new total is 11,435, only 565 to get to the new goal.
Uhuru. So that's 56 and a half people doing $10 each. Uhuru, well, I want to call on 56 and a half people to donate $10 each.
I'll do 10.
I'll do 10.
I'll do 10.
Awesome. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Go to the site and donate.
9. All right, we have 9 in the room. So we need whatever 56 and a half minus 9 is. To go online, go to givestlday.org/Black Power Blueprint and help us get to 12,000.
Sharon Wasey says, I'll do 10 for myself and the baby comrade.
All right, amazing. Uhuru, well, I don't know where to take it from here. I just really want to salute all of the special guests, Chairman Amalia Shatella, Uhuru, Vision Chairwoman Penny Hat, every single person that helped make this event possible.
Brendan.
And Brendan, the coordinator of the whole event.
Still donate till 10 a.m. tomorrow, and there's another power hour at 9 o'clock tonight.
Okay, did people, I don't know, did people hear that?
No.
So you might have to.
So you can still donate till 10 a.m. tomorrow, and there's another power hour at
9 o'clock tonight.
at
starting
9 p.m. Central Time,
45 minutes.
9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. So we want to call on people to keep donating. Let's get the rest of that $565 to get us to 12,000 and African self-determination, not mass incarceration. Be a final.
And where do they go to donate?
Yeah, say it again.
GiveSTLday.org /
Black Power Blueprint.
Oh,
Wow, 87 donors.
wow. That's amazing.
Great. Are we still on?
Yeah.
Oh.
We want to get a group shot, right?